Guest is ready. In fact, Magic Mike is here, but I want to hear as we get into Magic Mike. It's what we call him because he keeps pulling rabbits out of hats. Here's what the President of the United States thinks about Mike Johnson.
We have a very, very united party. This man has done a fantastic job, and so have you, Lisa. But this man has done a fantastic job. He's a real unifier. I don't think anybody else could have done it. I just said to your cohorts downstairs, we had a majority of one for a period of 5 months. And he kept it together, and we actually passed things. Nobody else did it. He's done a fantastic job as Speaker. We have a very, very unified party.
Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House from Louisiana. Welcome to the Scott Jennings Show.
Scott, I'm so honored to be. They told me, am I your first guest?
You're the first guest. You're the first guest because you're the Speaker of the House and you're delivering for the American people. The tagline of this show is common sense for the American people. And I don't think we have a more common sense person in the U.S. Capitol than you, my friend. So thanks for being with us. You are the inaugural guest on the inaugural show.
I am so honored, my brother. And you are the common sense on the airwaves every night. And I've told you this privately. I'll say it publicly. I think you're one of the best spokesmen in the party, and you stand for the core principles, and you do it in hostile territory on CNN all the time. So hats off to you. We've enjoyed watching, and I'm so excited for your new success.
Well, thank you for that. And it's a privilege to be able to engage in our public discourse here in the United States of America and to bring a little common sense to the conversation, which is what I think you all have done in the House. I want to start with what just happened, the big, beautiful bill. When President Trump, I'm going to be honest, when President Trump said, I want this done by July 4th, I was a little worried. I was a little worried about you guys up there. I thought, boy, that's a tight turnaround to get something this big done. Maybe take us back in time. When you got the directive from the president July 4th, were you a little worried? And then maybe give us a little color on how you got from A to B and delivered on time.
Well, let me give you the short version of it. That July 4th deadline was something that he and I sort of determined together, believe it or not. I think it was Vince Lombardi, Scott, that said victory loves preparation. And this was not accomplished by happenstance. We put a lot of work and thought and deliberation into this. And it really began in the early spring of last year, 2024. We had this vision, and I genuinely believe that we would win unified government again, that Trump would go back to the White House and we'd have a majority in the Senate and the House. But we also knew, because of gerrymandering and redistricting and all the outside factors, that we would have small margins, small majorities, very likely. So we had to plan accordingly. The reconciliation package and process is a way to get around the normal necessity of the 60-vote threshold in the Senate. And the reason that's a killer is everybody knows we only have 53 Republicans in the Senate, and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are in no mood whatsoever to help deliver the America First agenda. So I told my colleagues back in February, March of 24, I said, guys, this is what's going to happen this fall. We're going to have unified government. We got to plan accordingly. We're going to do reconciliation, but let's do it in a bigger way than it's ever been done before. We usually use 2 committees of jurisdiction to draft the bill, but let's go with 11. Let's do 11 committees. Let's go big. Let's really make a landmark piece of legislation and have a big, beautiful bill. And that's how it all began. So all the work and all the months and all the deliberation, countless hours of work and discussion and debate internally, and working with the president both when he was a candidate and after he was reelected, to fashion this bill and prepare it for prime time and get it over the line. We just implemented the playbook that we designed. So there was a lot of work that went into achieving that.
Well, your use of the word playbook, and we've got a second here before we're going to take a break and then come back with you, Mr. Speaker. But your use of the word playbook makes me think of the fact that something that's always been true is true today. Politics is a team sport. Unity is better than division. And what you have to do as the quarterback over in the House and working with our head coach, Donald Trump, down in the White House, you have to keep the team unified in a 10 or 15 seconds. Is that the message you gave to the team back in the locker room? Because ultimately there was mostly unity among the Republicans. It was necessary, yes?
Yes, absolutely necessary. We had a 1-vote margin for a big chunk of the first 100 days of the Congress, and when we passed the bill, a 3-vote margin. So I said, let's keep it together, guys. Prayer, patience, and teamwork. That's what got it done.
That's Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. You're on the Scott Jennings Show. Stay with us, Mr. Speaker. We'll be back right after this on Salem Radio Network. Jennings, common sense for the American people. Scott Jennings Show here on Salem Radio Networks. Our special guest today is the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. We were talking about the big, beautiful bill before the break, and I want to talk about the politics of this, Mr. Speaker, because over at CNN where I spend some time, I've been assured by all the pundits and Democrats and anchors and so on that this is massively unpopular. I, of course, don't share this opinion. I think it's massively popular. I think welfare reform, low taxes, a secure southern border, energy unleashed by this bill, I think it's popular. Can you talk to us about the politics of this as it relates to Republicans running towards this debate as we head to the midterm elections?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing it up, Scott. Look, what's unpopular is the false narrative that has been said and written about the bill. If everything they said was true, it would be unpopular, but it's not true. Like, their whole premise is built upon this idea that we are, quote unquote, ripping health care away from people. We're going to slash Medicaid and all this other nonsense. None of it is true. The people that are saying it didn't read the bill. They're parroting false messages. Here's the thing: we didn't cut Medicaid. That's their main complaint. There are no cuts to Medicaid in the bill. In fact, Medicaid spending goes up on a trajectory over the next 10 years. What we did is strengthen the program for the American citizens who desperately need and deserve it. How do we do that? By eliminating fraud, waste, and abuse, by reintroducing work requirements for Medicaid. See, the problem is the resources have been drained in the program. It has an outrageous amount of fraud and abuse in the program every year, tens of billions of dollars just wasted. Because after they expanded Obamacare and they basically allowed everybody who wanted to be on Medicaid in so many states, you have young able-bodied men, for example, with no dependents, who are literally, Scott, sitting at home playing video games instead of working, right? There's actual studies on this. AEI did a report, I think you've cited it, where they said they're at home watching TV and playing video games, okay?
Like
That's
6 hours
wrong.
a day,
Everybody
like 6
knows.
hours a day. I mean, the average working person doesn't get to do that. They got to work for what they get. That's why I think the politics of this, lean into. My advice to Republicans: lean into this. If you want to be for Medicaid for illegal aliens and people who won't work, be my guest. But in a campaign, I think Republicans ought to lean into the opposite.
100%, Scott. We're sending them out, going into town halls. I can go into town hall in any district in America and explain what we did and have everybody nodding in agreement within 2 or 3 minutes, because what we're saying is Medicaid is an important safety net for certain. We want to preserve it for the people who need it. It's intended for the disabled, the elderly, young single pregnant moms down on their luck, for example, right? It's not, the resources are not going to be available for those people if you have young able-bodied men riding the wagon when they should be helping pull it. We put a minimum 20 hours a week, okay, as a requirement. You either have to be working, looking for a job or in job training program, or volunteering in your community for 20 hours a week. That's good for the person involved. It's good for the people around them. It's good for the community and the country. And we can defend that all day long. And by the way, the reason we put the bill, the One Big Beautiful Bill, on such an aggressive timetable is we wanted everybody to feel the positive effects of these pro-growth policies before the midterm election. They needed relief immediately. They're going to get it very quickly, and they're going to know that when they go to the ballot box in 2026.
That's the ethos of the Republican Party. We're encouraging people to go to work. The ethos of the Democratic Party is to continue to encourage government dependence. Mr. Speaker, we got a couple of minutes left. I want to talk about the future. You've obviously done a heavy lift here on the big, beautiful bill. What's next for the House Republican majority? What can we expect out of you all here in the month of July as we head towards August and for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we got this landmark achievement done with the big, beautiful bill. We cannot rest on our laurels because the job is still ahead. We're going to continue the process of what we've begun here. We have appropriations bills that are now forthcoming. We're going to write the legislation at lower numbers and spend less and less of the people's treasury, because we got to be good stewards of that. We have additional rescissions bills coming forward. That's clawing back fraud, waste, and abuse that was misspent for money that was already previously appropriated by Congress. In conjunction with the White House, we're doing that. We have additional reconciliation bills, Scott. We have one planned for this fall, one hopefully for next spring, so we can attach one to each upcoming fiscal year. We can do 3 of those bills in a 1-2 year cycle of Congress. We're going to do that. And we're codifying all the Trump executive orders and actions, continuing to roll back Biden regulations. Just a lot of things to do. We codified, by the way, 28 executive orders in the One Big Beautiful Bill.
30?
That's now law. That's a big thing. This can't be changed by the next administration. Heaven forbid if we get another Democrat president sometime in the near future. They won't be able to revert to the old policies because now it's in the law. So these are very deliberate actions. Takes a lot of planning. and implementation, but we're getting it done, and we'll continue to get it done for the people.
We're going to cut spending, lock in the rescissions package. We're going to codify more Trump executive orders. That's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, thank you for being with us on the Scott Jennings Show.